So out of all the singing competitions on television, and there are a lot, what drew you to this one?
Well, the concept of the next is completely non-redundant with anything that's out there. I mean, it is literally the flip side to all the music shows out there, where the other music shows you got to come audition to get on it, and there's thousands of people doing it. This, on the other hand, is you're looking for people in a town that are already playing, they're already building their fan base, they're already daily actively doing it. It's not a hobby for them on any level. They are in it for the long haul. And just, I almost, in my mind, every time I see one of these new artists that I work with, I think of them like it's like a Rubik's Cube. And they're about 2 or 3 spins away from being done, you know. And it's my job as a mentor to come in there and figure out, because every Rubik's Cube looks different, you know, what those moves are to get them to that spot. So in 72 hours to be able to go to somebody's house, where they work, where they party, where they go to church, whatever it is their life is, understanding that end of them, you have to understand that part to really give them real advice, because every artist is different, just like every person is different. That's what I love about the next. I mean, it's just absolutely unlike anything, and it allows me to be a complete maniac if I want to sometimes. For instance, riding a horse through Harlem to meet my contestant in Harlem. I'm galloping up a sidewalk in Harlem right towards Malcolm X Boulevard. I take a hard ride on this horse, and there's my artist walking up past the Apollo Theater, and he stops and looks at me like that. I said, "How you doing, John Rich?" And I reach down and shake his hand. He's going, "What is going on?" I climb off the horse and I go, "We got 72 hours before you're going to have the performance of your life, son. Show me somewhere I can park this horse. We got to get to work." And what other show is that going to happen on?
That's kind of amazing.
So for a guy like me, I'm a real dynamic kind of person. I love everything from that down to the real quiet conversation of what is holding you back, in your opinion, and just let them talk. And then I just listen. I've mentored artists before. You know, Gretchen Wilson was my bartender. And then we wrote Redneck Woman and Here for the Party, and she sold 8 million records, you know, on that album. So I've done it before, successfully done it. You just have to understand the artist first, and then apply what's great. You know, tell them, this is what's great about what you do, this is what's not so great about what you do. Don't do this anymore, do that. They go, "Really?" I go, "Right." And it lays it out. See, Joe? Happy birthday to Joe Jonas. How cool is that? Poor old guy, 23. I think I saw gray hair popping out. That's what I love about the show. I love the fact that the people in the audience get to decide who goes forward, who represents their town. It's like high school football, you know. It's just so cool to have that kind of energy in there. And then at the end of the day, America gets to pick it. And the winner's going to get a big record deal. They're going to get to put songs out and go out and open for their mentor. So if one of my guys or girls wins, they're going to come out and open for Big and Rich out on the road. Like, that's a real result, you know. That's a real place to wind up.
Well, in that, because they are going to be opening for you, was there any kind of conversation either with you or the producers trying to find a certain kind of genre of talent, so that way it doesn't clash too much with the Big and Rich fan base?
Well, you know, you would think that, first of all, the Big and Rich fan base is
it's everyone. But
it's a lot. Yeah, I mean, it kind of just goes all over the place. I think that's one reason why I was attracted to a show like this, because our whole motto is music without prejudice. You know, we think genres are only out there because labels needed to somehow divide it up so they could sell and parse out, you know, the fans. But in the real world of fans and music, everybody can go to iTunes or wherever, and anybody can go get that song if they like it. So that's the way it really rolls. So for me, I worked with artists. I'd say out of the 6 I worked with, 4 were country. I'd say 3 were really country, 1 was somewhere in the middle, and 2 were absolutely not country at all.
what was that like?
You know what, it was fun for me to take on an artist that wasn't a country singer, because they're great singers and they're great performers. They just, like this one guy in particular, had been part of a really successful band, like a big time band. And then the band dissolved, and now he's out on his own, and he's trying to figure out. He's a pop guy. He's trying to figure out how to be solo, because when you don't have your band around you, it's a completely different thing out on the stage. Well, guess who he's talking to? A guy that was in the band Lone Star for 8 years. You know, I was in that band. We were having #1s and big crowds, and then I wasn't in that band, and now I'm on my own. He went, how'd you deal? What did you do? So I got to tell him my story. He went, oh, okay. I go, right. So you just turn your mind a little bit, and you come at it from a different point of view, and dude, you're gonna nail it. And I watched this guy just transform over 72 hours. He went from being scared to death to like bowing up like this, and that's the whole point.
Another thing we don't normally see on television is going into someone's bathroom, into everyone else's bathroom.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that was pretty much the only bathroom I ventured into. But you know, part of what you're talking about there with Michael Ray is he was a little too timid for me, because he was singing these really aggressive songs and stuff, and I'm like, and he just thought too much about everything all the time, and I wanted him to see how loose I could get, you know. So I go sit out on his toilet with my guitar while he's in the shower, and he's like, what the hell's going on in here? And you know, and it cracked him up, and I said, that's how you got to be, bro. You got to just roll with it, man, because you never know. You never know. You get out on stage, you're not a robot. You're Michael Ray. Be yourself. You're a good guy. You got a good personality. You need to loosen up a little bit.
And what is the most interesting scenario that you were part of in those 72 hours?
With Michael?
No,
or
with
just
everyone.
period?
In general, like, because you do a lot of, I mean, everyone.
I mean, riding a horse through Harlem with a cowboy hat, Ray-Ban sunglasses, and chaps. I mean, I look like a Marlboro
Where's the
man.
horse from the police, or?
No, just upstate New York. Had a great horse farm there. They brought down a big 17-hand quarter horse, which is a big quarter horse. Big quarter horse. And I grew up on quarter horses in Amarillo, Texas. But to handle that animal, I took 30 minutes getting to know the animal before I climbed up on him with traffic and that part of it. I mean, it's wild down there. So I would say riding a horse through Harlem is something, it's not necessarily on everybody's bucket list, you know. Absolutely. I'll ride a horse anywhere. I don't care. I love, you know, and that's part of my culture from where I come from. So one cool thing about the Next is it allows Joe, Nelly, Gloria, and myself to be us, 100%, whatever that means. You just go in there flying on it. There's no rules, there's no script, there's no nothing. You just go. And you've got such great dynamic personalities, it really turns into some really cool stuff.